89 days, 3 months, not a single check. I'm screwed. I got 10 days left. I randomly knocked on this dude's door. He connects me with somebody in Texas. I fly out to Texas on day 90 and 91. I closed 2 deals as a setter. One paid $3,000, one paid $2,000. I made $5,000.
And they stop acting like leaders, and that's why you see a lot of different companies, they lose it. What do you think the key is as a leader to keep your people hungry, keep your people growing?
I've done content for 10 years. It never popped off. Dude, we were getting 30 views, 0 likes as I'm traveling the entire country. And like when I'm doing my battle of the gains, I'm dropping like $2,000 on videos, $3,000 on videos, and they're getting like 100 views. And we're creating impact, and like we're consistent. What you grow through and the depth of your struggle determines the height of your success. I just really liked his energy. I liked what he was saying. I liked how he talked. I liked the philosophies, the principles, the values that he seemed to embody. And so I just watched that first one, watched the second one, and now I'm like binge watching them for like the next like 2, 3, 4 weeks.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Danny Klein. Welcome back to another training podcast. Today, I got my boy Will. You guys have probably seen him in this space, and I wanted to bring him on here for an educational podcast to talk about his story, what he's done, how he's been able to recruit, and just basically kind of pour into you guys on how you can recruit, how you can sell, how you can train and just grow your team. You know, the whole goal of what we have inside these videos is to help you guys be able to grow your companies, train your teams, and just build undeniable leadership, undeniable sales, and just crush it. So stay tuned, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, make sure you take notes. This guy has made multiple millions in sales, has recruited teams. Make sure you guys take notes. Stay tuned. Let's get it. So what's going on, bro?
Hey, we're out here in Arizona. We're in between trips right now. We had SolarCon last week. Saw you there. We're about to ship out to Las Vegas, which I think you guys were in Las Vegas yesterday too.
Yeah.
So today's kind of my day off, so I thought I'd come and hang out and do a podcast with you.
Sweet, bro.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have you on here, man. So talk to me, bro. So how did you initially get connected in with us, right? So like I remember you were kind of watching some of the stuff. You got connected in. Like when did you even find Andy and the team?
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. I was at the gym. And I think the Elliott Army just got into my algorithm, and I started watching this guy that was doing these sales training videos, and I just really liked his energy. I liked what he was saying. I liked how he talked. I liked the philosophies, the principles, the values that he seemed to embody. And so I just watched that first one, watched the second one, and now I'm like binge watching them for like the next like 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? And I forget where I met y'all, but I think I just somehow got connected. I think I somehow got your all's numbers. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to come and hang out with you guys. And so we came out. It was like December 28, 2022.
Yeah, we shot a YouTube video.
We shot a YouTube video, and it was the Lumi Bros high teeing up for Andy Elliott. And it was
threw that ass in the air,
undeniable.
Bro.
It was yes. We are as high tee as Andy Elliott is. But, dude, we created a huge brand industry and in solar. And so just to be able to say, like, hey, we learned a lot of that from you guys, from your energy. You guys have hopped on calls with us, doing trainings for our guys. So it's been fun getting to know you guys. And, you know, you want to do business with the people that you do life with. And so I love coming out here, connecting with you guys, and I love being a part of the Elliott Army.
Yeah, dude, one thing I really love about you, Will, is like you're just a non-transactional character. I hear Keaton the Muscle, he talks about this all the time. You know, a lot of people have a certain intention or a motive or something like that. And a lot of times you first meet people, you know, it's cool, we get to connect with them, and you know, but I always feel like they got some sort of like level of intention. I didn't really sense that. I sensed that you were this funny guy. I sensed that you were very like, you know, go with the flow. You were just very like, you're just a cool dude. You know, it was really cool to connect with you, and that you kept showing up. You had that good, genuine energy, and I watched the consistency with how you operate online with our teams and with me especially, and I was like, this dude's the real deal. And I really appreciate you as a person, and cool that you're crushing it in your own lane, and we're kind of crushing our lane, and we're kind of just, you know, collaborating. So
we like to hang out with winners.
Hell yeah.
Sure, you know?
So I want you to break down, man. So like, what is your story, bro? You said you've only been in solar for the last 2 years, right? Most people have been at 10, 20, 30, right? I'm 25 years old. You're 28,
yeah,
right?
29.
29 years old. And so we always say, like, you know, it doesn't take 5, 10, 20, 30 years to be great. It only takes the amount of time that you put that is intentional. If you put that time behind it, that you'll get the results. So how long you been in, man? Like, how did you get into this whole world, bro?
Yeah, and it definitely is like a new world, right? Entrepreneurship, personal development, like it's a different world than a lot of people that like work 9-to-5 jobs are accustomed to, right? We eat what we kill. We go out there. And I think one lesson that I've learned from you guys is like the second that somebody gets a job in like 1099s and like sales, commission only job is like they'll stop looking for work. And so you always got to be looking for work. And I kind of run in different industries too. Like we primarily do solar, but we're absolutely setting ourselves up for the future in other industries as well. That's why we were building the brand. That's why we wanted to like network with people and just do the social media. But my journey is, and again, like we all have our own story, right? I love hearing other people's stories, and it's cool when I can like look back at my journey and look at the times where I'm like really struggling and like back against the wall. And that's where we talk about like what you go through is what you grow through, and the depth of your struggle determines the height of your success. And it's like I just look back at the journey, like a lot of struggling, dude. Like, you know, doing events, losing money, you know, doing these big tours, losing money. And it's like, it's not all about the money, but it's like we're in business, right? So we got to be profitable. But one thing that I've always felt like I've done in my career since college is it's been like impactful work. So I went to school to be an English teacher. My junior year, I had friends, moms that.
It's so fucking crazy. I cannot see you as an English teacher.
Yeah, you can. I wrote a book. It's a horrible book, but I wrote a book. I've journaled every single day for a decade, like, and I've got all these journals, right? But I went to school to be an English teacher. My junior year, I just saw people struggling, you know? Saw a lot of people's families taking their lives and things like that, like family members, and I just like saw how that impacted like friends, girlfriends, you know, people like that. And so I think it's something that like for me, that permanent solution to a temporary problem, and like we all struggle, right? But that inspired me and my friends to start up our first company that was called Battle of the Gains. So Battle of the Gains was a healthy living movement, stopping the rising rates of depression, anxiety, suicide, homicide. And so we would host sports tournaments, motivational seminars, like brought together a ton of people. I was going on the news like, you know, 10, 15 times a year, like 4 or 5 times for every event. We were doing like 3 events a year. I ran that for 4 years from 2016 through 2020. 2020, I'm 25 years old. I'm about to do my 5th annual sports tournament. We're going to do it in this huge castle in Grand Rapids. We have a castle in Grand Rapids. A lot of people might not know that, but COVID hit. And so, like, for everybody watching right now, I'd love for you guys to comment below. What happened to you guys when COVID hit? How did COVID change your life? Because for me, it changed a lot, right? I went from hosting all these events to not being able to host any events anymore. And so I'm like, what do I do? Everybody's like, get on unemployment, collect the government check, $700-900 a week. And I'm like, that's not me. Like, I want to keep working. I just knew that would be like something that I wouldn't be proud of myself for. And so I easily could have done it, but I said no. And I actually went and I got a delivery job at Amazon in the middle of the pandemic, delivering
Delivery
packages.
gang.
Yeah, for 3
Delivering
months.
Chinese food. Love that shit.
And we talk about like personal development, right? Everybody's listening to rap music, smoking cigarettes in their cars. I'm listening to master classes. I'm learning how to cook with Gordon Ramsay. I'm learning how to play tennis with Serena Williams. I'm learning film with Martin Scorsese, right? And all these different incredible characters on masterclass. And so I did that for 3 months, worked 60, 70 hours a week in the middle of pandemic from like March, April, May. And it was a really interesting time because nobody was driving, everybody's home. And for sure they were buying a lot of packages online. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I would deliver 300 packages a day. And so
Holy shit.
kind of had to humble myself because like I was kind of like getting to the point where I'm like, hey, he's kind of a big deal. He's hosting all these events. He's going on the news. But behind the scenes, it's like, dude, I'm broke. I've invested all my money. I'm trying to make 30 grand on this event. I lose 15. I got to go work construction for like 2-3 months to pay it off. And long story short, I did it for 3 months, working this job at Amazon as a delivery driver. And one day I'm just thinking about real estate. I'm thinking about my mentor, Tom, and I'm manifesting, visualizing. And he calls me 2 hours later and goes, Will, we got 2 properties in California. I want you to run them. We're going to put you up in a cool apartment, and it's $1 million play. We're going to take these properties. We're going to take them over. We're going to flip them, and you're going to fix them up, and you're the guy. You're going to be the property manager. We'll tell you what to say from far, right? But we're going to go in there. We're going to train you on the job. So, like, I learned everything about real estate in those 6 months there from June of 2020 through December of 2020. And it ended up being an absolute movie. I can't go into too much detail because it was insane. But when you look at big properties like that and, you know, properties that are distressed and properties that were mismanaged and family members trying to just offload the properties for very, very cheap, other family members get involved. And we basically went to war to buy these properties very discounted. So, but I learned everything with finances and, you know, working with the contractors, and we were collecting $500,000 in rent a month. I'm taking it to the bank and just seeing how much money was in real estate was really cool for me. So now as future investors in real estate, I have that skill set to be able to work with property managers, which I love, right? And so that's where Andy Elliott talks about not being one-dimensional, right? We got different dimensions, but from there, the end of 2020, and it's now like, all right, what do I do? Do I go back to Michigan, work at a factory? Like, what do? I need to get a job now, right? I got to figure it out because this job has ended. They ended up not selling it to us. And so I think I'm going to make $1 million. I make 10 grand. We get a little severance check. So I get an RV with that 10 grand. And I do a trip to every single state in the country, 48 states, 93 days on the road, advocating for mental health, walking up to people in the street saying, what was the biggest battle from COVID? How are you impacted from COVID? What is something that's cool about your state? And we interviewed over 500 people across the country. And, dude, I went on the news in about 25 different states. I was flying my drone over the state capitol,
Dude,
which I think is
I don't
illegal.
understand how I missed this part of your life.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, like, because I think
Yeah.
what you're doing now is cool, but I feel like that is 10 times more purposeful, and that, like, even brings me 10 times closer to you.
Yeah.
For just like what you've been through, bro. And like, you're telling me you went to 48 states except for Hawaii and Alaska.
So I did Hawaii first.
You
I've not been to Alaska, but 48 states, 93 days. Some states are big, like Texas,
Yeah.
Arizona. Some states are little, like New Jersey and Rhode Island and Connecticut. I could do those in like 30 minutes. But, dude, it was crazy. Met a lot of people, saw the country, noticed that, yeah, it's different across the country, but we're all the same, right? Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to live a good quality of life.
Yep.
And everybody across the country was impacted from COVID. So it was really interesting to document that. It's on YouTube. You can look up the U.S. Gain Store, and it's me just going across the country and interviewing people and just getting a perspective of the country. So after this ended, the whole time, my friend's like, dude, I made 40 grand in a month selling solar. I'm like, dude, I'm good. I don't want to do door to door.
When COVID ended? Or like,
no,
this
was June of 2021 now.
Got it.
So
I love that you know like all the dates.
March 15th through June 15th, I did my tour. June 17th, I said, all right, I'm going to give myself 100 days to make 50 grand selling solar door to door in Northern California. Every single day I had my journal, and I would write down 99 days from now, I'm making 50 grand selling solar. Next day, 98 days from now. Next day, 97 days from now. So it's like to have a goal happen, you have to have an exact goal with an exact date. And so I wrote down my 2 micro goals for every day, which was train and knock doors. At the end of each day, I would write down, hey, these were the struggles I had. These are my solutions. Here's how I rate myself on my discipline from 1 to 5. Here's how I rate my overall day from 1 to 5. Yes or no, am I closer to my goal? Usually it was yes. And then just final thoughts of the day. So I did that for every single day. The whole thing was, they said you get 5 appointments, self-generated, then you get on company leads. I got my 5 deals. I never got on company leads, and none of the deals installed. So I didn't make any money for 89 days, bro. 89 days, 3 months, not a single check. I'm screwed. I got 10 days left. I randomly knocked on this dude's door. He connects me with somebody in Texas. I fly out to Texas on day 90 and 91. I closed 2 deals as a setter. One paid $3 grand, one paid $2 grand, made $5,000. The next week I come out as a closer. I fly out 6 of my friends, and they helped me close 13 deals, and I made $45,000 in that last week, and I hit my goal of making $50,000 in 101 days. The next week I come out, I break a company record, 17 deals, $85,000, cleared $100,000 that next month, and I just did that every single month for the next 12 months. We documented our journey on YouTube from me going from a setter to a closer to a manager, regional manager, vice president, and now we're one of the names in the industry alongside the greats like, you know, Elon Musk. And so it's kind of crazy to see how quickly that you can do something. But like, I had the intention when I first started of like, who's doing it big, right? You look at like Andy Elliott, that's somebody that you want to emulate. And I just saw a lot of people that were making a ton of money. They were like surfing on Ferraris. Yeah. They were like going to the club, doing dumb stuff. And I'm like, we're going to do it right. We're going to do it consistently, and we're going to actually do the work. So it's like, I still get on the doors, bro. I was on the doors yesterday. I'll be on the doors tomorrow. And it's like, now we're just traveling across the country. Our team went from 5 guys to now we have like 400 or 500 people in the company. And it's just really, really crazy to see how big it's gotten. But to be honest with you, dude, like, I'm still hungry. Like, I have not at all arrived yet. We got another 20 years in this. Solar's going to be around forever. It's an incredible opportunity. And I love changing people's lives in this, because I've had people that have changed my life. And I remember just when I was broke, $2 to my name, and really struggling. And so now to think that like people can listen to this and say, dude, I can go from $2 to $2 million like we've done. And it's like, that's
Dude, COVID changed my life. Like I got a $200 commission check, and I was about to get fired. Looked up just sales training. Andy Elliott pops up the very next day. I closed a $1,500
That's
deal.
how you found him.
The very next month, I made my first 20 grand. I was 19 years old, and then the rest was history, bro. Like, just absolutely changed the whole trajectory of my entire life, bro. The one thing that I love is that after you started, like, you know, you set that goal, right? 90 days, 50K.
50 grand in 100 days.
50 grand in 100 days.
Yep.
I think that's crazy, because everything starts off with mindset, right?
Yep.
But then also to tie that back into just calling your shot, and then also documenting the journey.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking undeniable that you were going to hit that target because of the level of effort that you were putting in, the accountability of documenting. No one's going to go to that level of extent if they're not going to hit their goals. You know, like, what was the mindset behind documenting the whole thing, making the YouTube? I mean, you came from all this stuff, you know, traveling, you know, the U.S., you're doing your deal, and then you're just now getting into solar. You almost get crushed. Most people would have quit. Most people actually do quit.
People quit after 2 weeks.
That's the story of solar.
I did it for 3 months.
3 months, don't get paid, and then the last 10 days, you pull out like a fucking animal. I think that's epic. What's like the mindset behind all that? Because I feel like you got your mindset that propelled you forward, and then you got your brand that builds, that now starts to recruit, then the skill acquires, and now you start to train your people. It kind of goes in that order, and then now it's manifesting with this massive momentum. But let's talk about the mindset for a second. Like, you know, what point in your life, like what put you to that point for you to say, hey, you know what, like I'm going to write this down every single day? You know, what level of self-development? Most people don't think like that, bro.
There's a lot that goes into it. I want to start with like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, but you've also got people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Brad Lee that talk about be the content, right? And you don't have to create anything, you just have to document it. But what I saw was that nobody in the industry had documented their entire journey. And that's something that Patrick Bet-David talks about that we're going to have here at July
27th.
And he's like, dude, look at like the idea of your kids and your grandkids and your next offspring can watch your content. Right now, our grandchildren are going to look at this going,
Bro,
like, dude, look at BG and DK doing
I
a pod. Like,
always
how cool is
think
that?
about that shit.
I think
Because,
about
dude,
it too.
I think I only have like less than, you know, I can count on one or two hands, like videos and pictures. I mean, I got a couple pictures of my dad, but less than, you know, probably 10 videos of my dad.
Yep.
You know, like I'm just trying to learn, like, you know, see anything. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't have anything, man.
Yeah.
And so that's what propels me to literally do it, because I'm on the backside of that. Like, there was no content.
100%.
Like, you better know how to use a fucking goddamn cell phone.
And it's like, think about that, though. Like, this is what Patrick Bet-David talks about, to be able to see, like, oh, I got that from him, and look at how he was like that. And it's like, I think that's the first thing is, like, I've always done content. And honestly, I've done content since I was 20. I'm going to be 30 this year. I've done content for 10 years. It never popped off. Dude, we were getting 30 views, 0 likes as I'm traveling the entire country. And like when I'm doing my Battle of the Gains, I'm dropping like $2,000 on videos, $3,000 on videos, and they're getting like 100 views. And we're creating impact and like we're consistent. So like, you know, sometimes we would hit a spurt where like 500,000 views on a video like randomly, but like they're all in like the Philippines, so it's like it doesn't even matter. But dude, like as soon as we got into solar, we realized like, and honestly, I brought in a professional. I think everybody needs to have a professional, right? But my friend, he understood content, he understood, you know, marketing, and we niched down on solar.
Yep.
We built an audience in the solar industry, and then we just kept feeding the algorithm the content that they love. So that's how we were able to get it to the point where now YouTube's almost at 2 million views, one of the most watched, you know, sales channels in the solar space. And Instagram, like, you know, a couple 100,000 views on videos. And it's like, it's not about the views, but it's like that's impact. And if you're looking at this as a game, like, you want to get more. You want to get more views. You want to make more money. You want to change people's lives. And it's like, play big or play small. I want to play big. And so where we're at right now, I feel like we could get taken out tomorrow by somebody else that comes out. You guys watching this right now, right? You guys could come out right here and you create a way bigger channel. You guys could be looking way better than me or Danny and just doing better content. And so I think that's one thing that, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk talked about this weekend at SolarCon is like the fact that, you know, we've been doing this for years, right? And we've got a bigger audience than maybe some people, but they could make one video, everybody watching this video right now, that gets 20 times more views than all the videos we've ever done together. And like Gary talked about how that's intoxicating. And so he just talks about like there is value in building a brand. And so I realized that when I got into the solar industry. And so now we've got a brand in the industry that a lot of people changed a lot of people's lives. And it's going to be an exciting journey to keep going and keep finding ways to innovate. I do take a little bit of pride in like always leveling up, right? We've always found ways to like, you know, just level up. And so not staying stagnant. And that's one thing that Andy talks about is like when people see you, they should see a new evolved version of you every single time. If they see the same version of you and then they catch up, then it's like you're not their leader. So that's one thing I really resonate with what you guys
100%.
preach.
Bro, I think the craziest thing is like most people overthink the hell out of content. You know, they think they need all the perfect things, all the perfect edits. They need everything to be absolutely perfect instead of just massive action over an extended period of time with consistent content, taking the feedback, making it better, and just rinse and repeat, bro. And also just the mindset behind the content. It's like you weren't documenting your journey to be like, oh, I'm going to recruit a bunch of people one day, but it was like, you know, I'm going to build this just to document it, just to call my shot, just to start now. Because at some point, 10 years down the line, I'm going to thank myself for starting to shoot this content. And also that pressure is what got you the result.
Yep.
You know? So fast forward today, brand's kicking ass. How has that affected the recruiting, the brand? Like, how has it all played in for you inside the business?
The thing I love about it is people see what we're doing on the internet. So when they come out, they already know the deal. Those are the best recruits. And there's a lot of them. Like people are, and this is like, not to impress anybody watching, but just to impress upon you guys that it's like, hey, this is where we're at. This is where Andy's at. People are starting to walk up at grocery stores and being like, dude, I've watched all your videos.
The grocery store.
The mall, dude. Like, probably 20 times at the airport, and it's really cool, and I like that. But it's impacting people. We're able to recruit people from that. People like our energy. They can see that we're having success, and this is something that we've said from day one. It's like, views don't matter, the videos don't matter, so that we're having success. And if we're not selling solar, the videos are done. And so we're selling a lot of solar. You know, we're going to be doing several $100 million this year. Our goal is to create 100 millionaires, take this company to $1 billion, and we're working with some really good people. But like, people are attracted to that because people just want to be a part of a family, dude. People just want to be a part of a culture. You look at like the Maslow's 5 hierarchy of needs. You got like food, shelter, water, community, and your tribe, or whatever the 5 are, right? And so I think people see the brotherhood, and they want to be a part of that, and they love it. So I think I look at other people that don't do content. I'm like, dude, how do you recruit? Like, nobody knows who you are.
Dude, I don't get it. You got to keep selling yourself every single time you're on the call. You got to prove to people why you're better, why you're different, versus they've already pretty much sold themselves. Like I always tell people, like, dude, people are pretty much sold when they reach out to us. They reach out to me because they've seen me, they've seen Andy, they've seen the team online. It's more or less like a conversation guiding them along on where's the best place to start, what's going on. I'm going straight into like the third step inside the sales process. Like I don't need to deep dive and figure out if they're a good fit. I already know that they are. You know what I mean? So like, you built the brand, recruit comes in. I want to talk about content for a second. What do you think? I know why your content separates itself, but what do you think is the difference between people that make content on YouTube or on socials and what makes yours separate and has gotten the level of growth that it has?
I think that we've been consistent with it, first off. The second thing is we documented exactly what it was, right, with the blitzes. So we would record our meetings, we would record the doors, we would show the recruiting calls. Like, we documented everything. So it was essentially like a reality television show. That was what we did.
I would 100% agree. From a viewer's perspective, watching you just straight overcome objections live on the door, seeing your ass get busted up, also seeing you guys close deals, seeing you guys hand out the hats, the live sales training meetings. There was so much value in that it was just so authentic. You know, I feel like people's authenticity gets lost in the content because they're trying to be somebody that they're not. And you were just like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to show you how we live. And that's why a lot of people love what we got going on, because we're like, dude, fuck it. Come to the office, see what's going on. This is how we live. This is what's going on. There's people running around. They're not behind a desk. They're just running around, like, making phone calls all day long. And that's what I loved about what you were doing, is just literally just watching the raw, live, behind-the-scenes stuff. For anybody out there that's trying to figure out, you know, how do we make content? How do I build the brand? I want you to take a different angle with your content. It needs to be raw. It needs to be organic. You need to be showing the behind-the-scenes stuff. You know, peel away from just straight shot, headshot video, rinse and repeat over and over and over and over. That worked back in 2015, but in 2024, you're going to need to be a little bit more vulnerable. You're going to need to be a little bit more authentic if you want it to catch. You know, when I post my live sales calls, or Will posts his live sales deals on the doors, that's when people like pop off. Whenever I see something, I want to know what's going to happen. You know, when someone gets rejected, hey, I'm not interested, like, you know, piss off, there's no soliciting sign. I'm watching the whole rest of the video because I want to see what's going on. You know?
And the coolest thing about solar too, and just sales in general, is like, it's a personal development program with a compensation plan attached to it. And so I
love when you say that.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. I mean, we implement Battle of the Gains all the time into our solar sales training, and it's like, dude, before you can make gains, you must first make gains in all aspects of your life. So before you can make financial gains, you got to be in the gym, you got to have the right mindset, you got to be doing the reading the books, your emotional, your family, like all the different things that turn you into, like Andy Elliott talks about, not just a one-dimensional person. Like, you can truly have it all.
Yeah.
And then just with the content, like, yes, the best content that we do is definitely the door knocking, but like, look at somebody like Alex Ramosi, dude, he just sits in front of his couch and he's changing so many people's lives. And so I love the space, personal development. Like, I think I started it with Tony Robbins. I studied Grant Cardone. I studied Zig Ziglar. Now I'm studying people like Patrick Bet-David and Andy Elliott. And it's like, social media, we live in a world now, and this is what Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, where it's like, you have to build your brand. And there's a lot of people that are sleeping on social media. And it's like, hey, you'll give your guys' selves like excuses, like TikTok, it's from China, right? And it's like, no, like, you need to build your brand. And you don't want to be here right now as like a 25-year-old when you're 49 years old, 24 years from now, saying like, dude, I should have built a brand. And it's just the world that we live in. So you got to do it. You got to put out content. I look at it too from the perspective of somebody that's like not in sales. And like, why would they post? That's something I've been thinking about lately. I think somebody that's like entrepreneur, like us, and like obviously everybody watching, like, it makes sense to do content. But even for people that are just working at a 9 to 5 or working at, like, dude, I've worked 32 jobs. I've worked in half a dozen different factories.
You make money from it. They pay you for views. They pay you for your brand. You leverage. You see people like literally getting paid to just post stuff, to review products. You get there's so much value in so many different avenues that, like, the only way that you wouldn't be posting, even if you're not in sales. Actually, I would challenge that. Everybody's in sales. Like, you're selling something.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, either whether you're selling T-shirts, you have a small business, or you work inside of, I mean, I work for somebody else. Like, he works for somebody else. We all work for somebody, right? We're entrepreneurial, right? But it's like, I don't understand why someone wouldn't post, because that's what attention, right? Gary Vee talks about this.
Day
and
trading
also,
attention.
you know, GC, Uncle G talks about money follows attention.
Yep.
Totally agree. You know, even we see Ryan Garcia with the fight.
Nuts.
Doesn't matter good or bad or whatever's going on. Imperfect action is better than no action at all.
That's a good
10
one.
times over. You know, so let's get into some sales stuff. Let's say we got a new recruit that comes in. You're like, hell yeah, we're going to crush it. We're going to start them off. What does it look like for the first couple months with that person? Like, what do you do to ensure their success, you know, so they don't end up where you're at 80-something days with no sale? How do we make sure that they get up to speed fast?
The first thing, bro, is like controlling the controllables. So what can you not control? You can't control the weather. You can't control the amount of days that it takes for a deal to get into permitting. You can't even control the closer going in home as an appointment setter and like closing your deal. But what can you control in your first 30 days in order to be a champion? You can control how many hours that you're training. You can control how many doors that you're knocking. You can control how many times you're role playing. Those are the things that you can control. I think a lot of times the reason why people give up is because they're putting things into their environment they actually can't control, and they think they can control those things. So it's like it's raining out, or a deal doesn't close, or maybe a deal cancels. It wasn't their fault. It's out of their control, and then like they'll stop putting in the work. And so truly, dude, like you have to put in the work. That's what everybody says.
Hey.
We all know it, but the reason that we don't do it is because we get into our head.
You ever heard the toaster analogy?
Tell me.
So when you put bread into a toaster, what comes out?
Toast.
How do you know that?
Because it's bread. That's hot.
You know
It's
exactly
toasted.
what you're putting in. You know exactly what's going to come out. It's inputs, outputs, a law of averages.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, they focus so much on the output and the word track and all these specialized things, when if you can just focus on the controllables, like you said, my inputs, I already know if I knock 100 doors every single day, 5-6 days a week, that I know eventually it's going to come out to this little deal. You know, and then I get to look at some of the other areas. My activity is on point, right? Then I can look at my attitude, and then I can look at my skill set. I can start to fix these other areas that I'm not so, you know, optimized in, right?
And I'm a big to-do list guy. So like every morning I'm writing like my to-dos down for the day, my action.
I call it a
items.
power list.
Power list.
Way better than a to-do list.
And I got
to-do lists sit on fridges.
Yeah, I mean, I got it on my phone. I got little circles I fill in, but you know, I think you got to make sure that you just have a game plan for the day and that you surround yourself with winners. But dude, like the training is important. Training's something that you do, not that you did. So it doesn't matter what you were doing before. It matters what you're doing right now. But we have a blueprint for people to be successful in solar. And we have a ton of success stories. We have people coming in making $70,000 their first 3 weeks, which is absolutely insane in the solar industry. Just, I mean,
it's crazy for every industry. It's crazy for life.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's far beyond like, oh, you make 6 figures. Like, I remember high school, if I could just make my first 6 figures, like, I'm out, right?
Nuts.
That was the dream for most people in high school, 6 figures.
I never thought I would make 6 figures until I was like 50.
And honestly, like, this is what I feel from an outsider looking into the solar industry, as most people are like, oh, no, we have a long time. It's just getting started. You know, I love the abundance mindset, but I'm also a believer in urgency. I do not believe, for some reason, I think some other outside factor, regulation, something will happen that will prevent the amount of money that reps get paid in this current day and age. I don't think that somebody coming in that's 20 years old, they make $100,000 a month, $50,000 a month, and they've been in for, 90 days, whatever the amount, 6 months. They're not viewed as an expert, but they're making expert level of money. I think there's some level of force that will come in. And even if there's not, technically, why not have that mindset of thinking that it's going to get taken away from us tomorrow, as we'll capitalize on everything that we can right now. So that way, if something ever does happen, that we have the leverage and the capital to be able to pivot, to build bigger, or, to be able to make something make sense for our business. But, I just love the mindset of just knowing that you have to have urgency right now, because anything that comes up must come down. I just don't think it's going to last forever. I know it's definitely not going to last 20 years. Hopefully it lasts, longer than 10, but I would have all the urgency right now. And it doesn't matter if you're 17, 18 getting in right now to sell, or if you're 50 years old. Markets don't care what age you are.
Yep. I mean, money loves speed, wealth loves time, and poverty loves indecision. So you got to make sure that you're taking action fast and that you have a definite, clear plan of what you're trying to do. So for everybody watching right now, comment below. What's your clear plan? Are you definite about what you're doing? And if you're not, you guys can probably help. Right? You guys probably have all these different workshops and different things that you can help put a game plan for people together.
100% all day long, man.
Yep.
So let's say, what are some good basics, some good rule of thumbs for a newer rep that comes in to be successful? Should they be like, what are some good stats? Should they be knocking 100 doors? How many presentations should they be on? Should they be tracking their KBIs? Like what would you tell, your 25 or your 26-year-old self when you first started to be able to expedite that process?
So I had a kid hit me up last night and he said, I've really been struggling. I'm a closer now and I haven't been able to close my first deal. So I call him. I'm like, all right, like what are the numbers? Like how many times have you actually like sat in home? And he only sat in home I think in 3 weeks, 5 times. I'm like, dude, you got to sit in home 500 times. You're not putting in the work.
It's not enough to measure.
It's not enough to measure. And so I think that we got to make sure that like the 3 keys to being successful in solar are train, recruit, and sell. And so would you rather go out there and self-generate every single deal and be knocking doors every single day to get like one deal where you can make like 10 grand? Or would you rather go out there and would you have like 5, 10 setters and close 5 deals in a day and make $7,000 a deal and you make $35,000? Like that's where the closer setter model is the best model in the solar industry. But for guys that are starting off, it's like, dude, know your numbers. So go out there and it's like 100 doors is great, but how many conversations did you actually have? Let's say that we have 50 conversations. It's like, okay, out of those 50 conversations, how many people were a decision maker? It's like, all right, 25. Okay, I talked to 25 decision makers. Out of the 25 decision makers, how many appointments did you set? And it's like, I set 5. It's like, okay, there's your numbers.
Yeah.
Out of the 5, how many actually sit? It's like 3. All right, and then out of the sits, you close 2. So it's like all the time people will be like, dude, I knocked 200 doors. I knocked 300 doors. And they think that they're killing it, but it's like you didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You're knocking houses that aren't even home. So
you're working hard, but you're not working smart.
Exactly.
It's pretty much just like teaching people how to run their own business.
Yep.
It truthfully is. Like imagine trying to run an advertisement and then we're like, hey, let's make this ad better. And you're like, all right, let's look at it. And all you're looking at is you're just watching the video and you know that you've had it for 45 days, but you don't have any data on how much you spent, what's the cost per lead, what's all these things. Like what is the full breakdown? When you look at an ads manager, you look at anything on a business back end, it breaks down every single detail to the penny. And that's how you're able to make adjustments in the ship on where you're going, bro.
Yep.
And I think that's for people that are getting in, that are making business like money, entrepreneurial like money, as either, W-2 or 1099, it's not your company. You don't own the installers. You don't own the finance company. You're getting paid out to deliver a service. And so if you treat it like you're running a business and you hire people, you hire setters, you recruit, you build your brand, you start to invest back into yourself and into your, it's like, we talk about self-development, invest in yourself. Bro, you have a business. It's not even like investing in yourself, bro. It's investing in your business. It's selfish to not invest. It's like you're never going to breach the gap of making the money you want to make if you don't invest into brand, into running ads, into better gear, into anything. It's like you need to learn more skills. You need to learn more information. You need to have the right people, the right relationships. Some people I see that never show up to conferences. They never have the right relationships. They never want to promote. And they're like, I don't know why I'm not making it. You don't deserve to make it. You put no risk on the line for you to be able to deserve the income that the people that are risking everything, the results that they're getting, because they've risked it and now they figured out what worked, versus you want to play it safe and you want to get the big boy results.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's crazy.
And people, I'll hear them say sometimes, I don't have time to do social media. I don't have time to create content. What I hear when they say that is, I don't have time to build my business. It's like, dude, that is how you build your business, by creating content, by marketing. Gary Vaynerchuk says that too. It's like, selling's great, but you got to have people come to you, and that's marketing. That's building a brand, and then selling's easy. And like that's really with the social media. It's like people see that we're doing it at a very high level. They see that we're going to create 100 millionaires. They see that we have good people, we have good processes, we have good products, and so they're like, that's who I'm going to bet on. And at the end of the day, you got to bet on your horse. You need good leadership. You got a lot of people betting on Andy Elliott, saying he's going to help me go where I want to go. And so it's like for you, if you're trying to be a leader, you're trying to build a brand, it's like, are people going to bet on you? Or are they going to look at him and say, he doesn't walk the walk, he doesn't talk, he doesn't, So you got to make sure that you're building a brand, but that ultimately like you back it up and that you actually are who you say you are, and you're doing what you say you're doing.
Love that. So that ties into one thing I was going to say. So you're going to build your brand, you got to recruit, but I think before all, you have to become a leader. Mm-hmm. You have to become somebody that people want to follow. Mm-hmm. Quite literally on social media, right, on these little micro moments, all the way through to getting recruited, traveling across the country, getting the plane flight, getting the hotel, whatever that may be, leaving their world to come and join yours. That takes a true leader from somebody from the outside to come in. And also when they get in the business, are you going to trust that person, right, to get you up to speed? Leaders don't. I think people, they sit on this manager title. They sit on this throne once they get enough business. and they stop acting like leaders, and that's why you see a lot of different companies, they lose it. What do you think the key is as a leader to keep your people hungry, keep your people growing? Like, how do you ignite that culture in the door-to-door industry to keep people just on fire? Like, what is it? You know what I mean? I feel like it's this magical thing that people try to figure out that we do.
Right.
And truthfully, I feel like it's fairly simple, but it's hard to do.
Yep. That question has me fired up. I love leadership. I've studied it a lot, and we've got a lot of leadership courses on Snapper Academy. It's something that we really focus on. But, like, what is a leader? I want you guys to comment below. What is a leader? And then I'll tell you. A leader is somebody that gets things done.
Yep.
He completes a full, what we call like a cycle. So if you look at it going into like the toaster analogy, all right, that would be a cycle. You take the toast or the bread, you put it in the toaster, and then it comes out toast. That's a complete cycle. In solar, I talk to somebody, I have a conversation with them. They come and they get on the doors, they do the training, we onboard them, they get in the portals, they go out there, they set a deal, they get paid. That's a full cycle. So many of us are not completing cycles, right? Imagine you get on a couple of calls, you're trying to close them down, but you don't close them down. You don't get their card on file and $1,000 or $2,000, $20,000, whatever it is. That's a completed cycle. So as a leader is just one that gets things done. So like when I first started in solar, I was able to take those 6 guys, like one makes 15 grand, one makes 12 grand, one makes 14 grand, the other 2 made $5,000 and $6,000. And it's like, that was a complete cycle, right? That's why we were able to keep going, because people said like, dude, Will got me paid. I just went on a blitz with Will for 10 days and I made $15,000. Yep. And then we kept on doing it. We were able to show the paychecks. And so I think that leadership is something where you got to make sure that you're completing things, but also like, is your heart in the right place? There's a book I just read. I really like it. I want to recommend it to everybody. It's called The Motive. And what it talks about is you see so many people that are in leadership just to get something out of it instead of actually helping people, right? And not everybody's a leader. Not everybody has what it takes, that's for sure. You see a lot of people that are not good leaders. So a leader is somebody that actually wants to help somebody, and that's where their intention is. So if you look at like a CEO of a company versus like 20 other CEOs, and you look at like what does their day in the life look like, they're all going to give you different things. And that's not right or wrong, but the reality of it is some of them are doing the wrong action items. They're meeting with their board every single day. They're talking to their CFO, but they're not actually working with their marketing team. They're not actually working with like the boots on the ground. They're not working with their team. A good leader is somebody that's working with their team every single day. Again, not to keep shouting out the Elliott Army, but like, dude, like you guys are a family. You guys are traveling together. You guys are working out together. We're eating together. And it's like, that's a true leader. A leader is somebody that helps people get things done. He helps them hit their goals, and his heart's in the right place because he actually wants to help people. And like, at the end of the day, we've heard this, you can be the CEO and you can have a Lamborghini, but how many people on your team have a Lamborghini? How many people on your team have the cool cars, right? And so, yeah, I see a lot of people with cool cars in the parking lot, including myself. And so it's like, hey, we're doing it,
You got to be selfless, man. Like, a lot of times when you get into leadership, you make more selling on the front lines for yourself by your own versus, having a team, at least in the very, very beginning. And it takes a long time for that to catch up. Like, you got to be patient. You got to be able to help people. You have to learn how to sell people on why they should listen to you on a consistent and a daily basis. And the one thing is, too, like, it's different than sales in the aspect of, once I go and hit, a certain amount of doors, I've gone to a certain amount of trainings, if I've developed a certain level of skill set, I already know what I'm going to get paid. I know what output I'm going to get. I've kind of mastered to a certain degree on sales. And sales is forever. You're going to learn forever. But with leadership, you constantly have new people. Mm-hmm. You have a new project. You have a new person that's coming in that is fresh. And so it's something bigger than yourself. And if you put the money before the people, they're going to smell that and they're not going to follow you.
Yeah. People can tell. They can feel it. And so if you look at somebody and you just go like, again, that guy's not gonna help me get to where I'm gonna go. And so it comes from having a track record of success. It's like it comes from having a track record of success. Alex Hormozy says that confidence doesn't come from just yelling affirmations in the mirror. Confidence comes from having a stack of undeniable wins that prove and show that you are who you say you are. And so, we've documented our journey. We've closed $100 million in solar.
How many reps have you recruited, and what are some stats? What are some stuff, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah.
What's the undeniable
hundreds and hundreds
proof?
of reps. I've helped create several $1 million earners, which is really, really
Let's
cool.
Go.
Kids going out here like making $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 their first year selling solar, and then obviously they run it back year 2. Helped over 100 people make $100,000. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so that's impact, dude. We're changing people's lives.
100% impact, bro. Let's close this thing out, man. What are a couple things that you would give to anybody that's in the solar space just to win, to stay in the game, to keep pushing? What are some things that you've taken or that you do on a consistent basis that, just keep you elevated and keep you growing? Because I always say if you're not going forward, you're moving backwards. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah. I think it's good to have a game plan. You got to know where you're going. And so, again, I just look back when I first got into solar, I said $50,000 in 100 days. Did it. Then I was like, what's next? And it's like, okay, 13 seasons. We're going to create a reality television show. The entire industry is going to know about it, and we're going to be the number one solar salesman in America.
Visionary.
Did it, right? Yeah. So have a goal of where you want to go, and then build that team. You cannot go anywhere without a team. You have to have a team.
Yep.
And so I've been able to find some incredible people that I'm surrounded with that help me do the things that I want to do. But it's like, what are we doing next? Dude, we're going to create $1 billion company. We're going to create 100 millionaires, and we're going to change the industry. We're going to be the face of the industry. We're going to change a lot of people's lives. And that's what we're going to do over these next 3 to 4 to 5 years. And so have a goal for where you want to be 12 months, 6 years from now. And then know why you're doing it. It's like, okay, why are we actually in business? How is what we're doing here different from what maybe what these guys are doing? And so you just have to know what you're doing. You have to know yourself. You have to know other people, and that comes from training. And you got to make sure that you're training every single day. You got to make sure that you're leveling up every single day. You can't stay stagnant. It's a game. You got to make sure that you're creating a winning character.
Yeah.
So, life will hit you in the face. You sometimes have to pivot, but at the end of the day, just stay true to who you are. Be a good person. The universe is going to take care of you. God's going to take care of you, and you'll have an incredible life. And at the end of the day, that's all what we want. We want to have a good life. We want to be surrounded by good people, and we want to have zero regrets at the end of the day. And you're never going to regret the things that you did. You're just going to regret the things that you didn't do. So do as much as you can. Take action. Stay true to who you are, and surround yourself with good people.
If you want to go fast, go alone.
Yep.
If you want to go far, go with people.
Yep.
An individual can be beat, but a team can't be beat. You can't do it alone. Everyone wants to be the strong, badass person that, wants to strive and do it on their own and take all the fucking credit. And that's cool, and I can respect that. But if you really want to build something that will last a long time and build true wealth and actually really enjoy what you're doing and be able to build something that's sustainable, you got to have a team, man. And the last thing I actually want to end off on, you said regret. There's a framework that I want everybody just to remember. So my dad passed away about 4 years ago, crazy accident, and I always operate with this framework of regret. Whenever I get crossed with the decision on trying to figure out what to do, the phone call I need to make, the thing that I need to get done, the big scary monster in the closet, I just ask myself, am I going to regret not taking action on this thing right now in this moment? And then I allow that gut instinct to give me that answer, yes or no. That the answer is yes, I'm going to regret this. Am I going to regret this tomorrow? Am I going to regret this in 10 years from now? Yeah, I'm going to regret not doing that. Take the risk. Bet on yourself. Listen, you'll always get more money. You'll always get more opportunities. This whole victimhood mindset of play it safe, save your money for a rainy day is bullshit. That's from years and years ago when there was no opportunity. There was no internet. Unless you are somebody that just does not take action, you have zero reputation, you have horrible habits, then I would say maybe you need to get yourself right first. But if you're on the path, if you're doing good stuff, if you're making money, if you're in the gym, you're taking care of yourself, you're on this journey, then just start taking action. Start going hard, because it's honestly not as hard as people make it out to be. It's difficult, this game, and for the people that want the 9 to 5 and make an hourly paycheck, but the freedom is right on the other side of uncomfort. It's right in front of you, man. You just got to take the jump. The scariest thing is that first initial moment. And learning to trust that intuition with yourself is what will get you so far. I call it the trust piggy bank. When you start to put a little penny in that piggy bank over and over and over and over and over, and just that repetition, eventually you start to make decisions a lot faster. You start to see these big CEOs, these guys, hey, let's have a meeting, let's talk about it. Hey, what's the deal? All right, done. Hey, write it up, make this thing happen, let's do it. We don't need to have a meeting, because they learn to trust their intuition because they've made so many decisions over and over on it. So, Will, where can they find you at, my brother?
Will Ellermets on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook.
You got YouTube too?
YouTube, Snapper Academy, and yeah, we do solar for the better as our slogan. Nevo Solar, greatest sales force on planet Earth, and we're very excited about just where we're at. 2024 is going to be an incredible year. 2025 is going to be an incredible year. 2026, over this next 3 years, we're going to create 100 millionaires. We're going to help a lot of people personally develop themselves, and we just want to have it all. Shout out to Aaron Williamson, right? You can have it all.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're excited, man. Appreciate you for having us on the podcast, dude. It's been fun. You're one of my favorite people in the entire sales space. Somebody asked me the other day, they were like, dude, where'd you meet Danny Klein? I'm like, dude, I think it was when we first went out to the Lions Den here, December of 2021. And so it's been really fun watching you level up. Your content game's gotten better. How you speak's gotten better. Your network's gotten better. You're making more money. You're changing more people's lives. And I know that you're essentially the right-hand man here at the Elliott Army. And so, dude, the stewardship that you hold, the responsibility, it's a big deal, you got to make sure that you're actually following what you guys are standing for. And I know you guys have an incredible leader, and And so there's a lot of people that are betting against you guys because they really, they see what you guys are doing, and there's going to be a lot of haters out there. But the one thing that I just want to say is, like, I always want to bring the best positive energy to you guys because I know you guys are going to have people that are trying to bet against you. But I would say don't bet against the Elliott Army because these guys are going to be the Tony Robbins of the space. You guys are going to be impacting, dude, billions of people's lives. Like, it's going to be big. And I think that what you guys stand for and what you guys are doing, and then just watching your guys' journey, it's fascinating, the world that we live in, social media, to be able to watch you guys. So, yeah, people can find you everywhere. We can watch Andy everywhere. But I would just say, like, plug in, make sure that you guys are leveling up, come along the journey, get on the pod. You're making moves, dude. So I can't wait to see you go, too. And it's going to be cool to see where we're at 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now.
That means the world, man. I couldn't imagine myself 10 years ago you spitting those words at me. So I really appreciate your support, bro. Appreciate you guys staying tuned in. If you guys are watching it inside the training platform or on the Undeniable Podcast on YouTube, make sure you show some love, like, subscribe, share the video with the homie. Make sure you go follow my boy Will. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. See you guys in the next one.
See you on the flip side.